Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Beyond the Summit. We've got the semifinals of the Inaugural underway. We saw Scythe yesterday dominate their way to the grand finals, and the winner of this best of five will be facing off against Scythe. We've got Titan versus Execration, a potential of 5 games here, BO5 on the way. I'm Zyori, and I will be joined by Hippie. Chris, what's going on, pal?
Not a lot, man. It's been quite a while since I got anything done with you. I've been a little out of the loop. I've been busy lately, but I'm always happy to be here.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to turn off my in-game voice volume so we don't hear a Chris echo. There we go. That's even. That's better.
Don't you want to hear me twice? Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, you sound a little bit like Zordon, so I guess it's cool, but I don't know. For every viewer that likes Zordon's voice, there's 10 that don't. So we gotta go with the masses on this one, my friend. But
ouch.
Ouch! I know. Not everybody's into the grandiosity of echoing on a broadcast. So Titan versus Execration. Chris, how up are you on your Chinese Dota right now?
Not as much as I would like to be,
Dota.
because working a normal schedule means I don't get to watch as much
of
it as
you
I'd like.
Poor little biscuit. The normal schedule.
So
Yeah, the real world sucks compared to the Dota world, man. And this isn't really Chinese Dota. This is Southeast Asian Dota. I should not be stupid about it, but it's a similar meta. It's the East versus West kind of a thing. You know, East Coast, West Coast, except global.
If
But
if I recall correctly, the big missing hero is Dazzle, right, compared to the West?
No, I mean they run Dazzle a little bit. They really like themselves some Sand King. They absolutely love the Centaur, which isn't really that crazy. It's not really that different over here. They don't like oh, poo, who is it? Oh, they really don't like Bane. That's the support that they absolutely hate. And I have yet to figure out. I've seen Bane like once over the past week and a half of WPC and Inaugural coverage. I don't know. They pick Lifestealer, but they're just not into the Bane Elemental. But Execration versus Titan, this is kind of a one-sided matchup. I think Titan are the heavy favorites coming into this one here. If we take a look at the bets real quickly, last I looked, it was like, yeah, it's 81% Titan, 19% Execration. But to be fair, Titan have been known to throw on occasion, so could be an interesting series here, Chris.
I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe people are just in denial about how good Execration is.
Maybe. It's possible. We'll find out.
Especially a certain KYXY.
So there you go. There's that Dazzle you were talking about. And looking at initial bans, it was Enchantress and Invoker banned out by Execration, Lycan and Batrider banned out by Titan. There's one scary hero that made it through and wasn't picked up in the initial rounds, and that is the mighty Naga Siren. Some teams love to run her, others don't. Of course, Miracle known for his solo mid Naga, so there are Asian players that love the Naga, and there you go. That'll be a third ban coming up from Execration. It was a first pick Centaur. Titan picked up the Nature's Prophet and the Ancient Apparition, and Execration with that second pick Dazzle. So pretty open-ended drafts to get things started. I can't say I'm really surprised by any of these initial picks or bans.
Well, yeah, I mean, Centaur with any sort of heals to back him up is always... He's frightening enough on his own, and I'm still very, very happy with how that hero has kind of come into his own, but that's not a conversation for right now. But, you know, I mean, having a guy who can go in, be unable to die, just get your whole team on top of people, also combined with the Shadow Wave damage, it's pretty frightening. And then you have the global power on Titan is already there. I mean, not just the AA ult, but the Wrath of Nature. That can be a pretty frightening combo with just maybe one other sort of stun or initiation on someone. That could blow someone up as soon as both those heroes are 6.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm quickly becoming a member of the Centaur fan club. When teams were first picking him up, I was like, yeah, he's okay, you know, he's got the ultimate, but he's redonkulous, dude. Once he gets that Blink Dagger, which is an inevitability usually by that 10-minute mark. Yesterday we saw like a Centaur with a 5-minute Blink Dagger. He got first blood and then got a tier 1 tower kill before the 5-minute mark, and that was like a 5-minute, 30-second Blink Dagger, and it was disgusting. The burst damage that he puts out with Double Edge and Hoof Stomp is absolutely absurd. So not surprised to see him being prioritized here. The other hero that's been kind of shaky is the Shadow Shaman. For a while, a lot of these Asian teams were really running a lot of Rasta, especially when on the Dire side, and he's kind of fallen off a little bit. And I'm not exactly sure why, but still a viable option here. Both the supports that have been picked are lacking in the crowd control department, so something with some stuns, maybe a Rasta, Lion, Vengeful Spirit could be a possibility for either team at this point.
Yeah, I don't think Execration is quite as, I mean, between there's the
your lion.
There you go.
There you go.
Wow, just calling it right out. When did you get Psychic?
I don't know.
Execration, probably not quite as concerned. They have the Dazzle mini stun if they need to interrupt things. They have that slow to set up for the Centaur, as well as it's pretty easy for Centaur to chase people down, not only with the ultimate, but with the Blink Dagger, as you mentioned, get the Hoof Stomp on top of them. But obviously, Titan getting a little bit of lockdown, making it easier for that AA to land whatever he needs to, setting up for the Cold Feet if they need to. Cold Feet, of course, not the #1 reason you pick Ancient Apparition, but it's nice to have a reliable way to land that, especially in a tri-lane. That just means that enemy heroes have a whole lot of trouble coming in. This Centaur, if he sent offlane against an AA Lion +1 tri-lane, there's not a lot that can kill a Centaur, but that much disable plus Chilling Touch is definitely something that can.
Yeah, and it's good to hedge your bets a little bit with somebody like a Lion that has some hard crowd controls, because Weaver is an option. He's one of those kind of pocket carries that teams will pull out every so often if there isn't enough lockdown. And, well, could still be an option here. Titan could maybe get away with a Weaver pick, but not the best game for it. Execration go with a third pick, Shadow Demon, so they get a little bit of disruption. Mirana could be an option for their fourth pick here as well, but there's the Ember Spirit from Titan. I was going to make mention, he's made it through, and in our Eastern meta, Ember he's kind of shaky. This is about where he sits. Third, fourth pick, sometimes third, fourth ban. Teams just don't value the Ember Spirit quite as much. He's still quite potent, but I would bet money that this will be a Flame Guard Ember Spirit.
That's interesting to me that that they don't seem to just do as much with the Ember Spirit. He's such a powerful hero. Maybe, I mean, is the Flame Guard build a lot more popular in the Eastern scene? Because we saw that.
Yes. I've seen the Sleight of Fist Bola Arteezy build, I think, once over the past 2 weeks.
That's interesting, because that was the build we used to see all the time in Western Dota. It was very, Flame Guard, push people out of the lane, get your farm going, and then commit. But I mean, as soon as people realized the harassment power of the Sleight of Fist Bola's build, it became completely ridiculous and almost standard, except against specific lanes where you needed Flame Guard just to be able to stay in. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they're just lagging behind. Maybe they just haven't really felt the Ember Spirit enough to try that build. And I do want to mention, I think there's the potential here from Execration for an aggressive tri-lane. Centaur, Dazzle, Shadow Demon is absolute murder. You have the Disruption to set up for the Hoof Stomp. You have the extra illusions for the Dazzle nuke. Lots of physical damage, lots of magical damage. Very, very little would be able to live against that.
It's true. They may opt for that. It kind of depends on what they want to do with this last pick. Something like a Luna or a Weaver could be an option for Execration if they want to go that hard carry route and have defensive supports, or they could be super aggressive like you're talking about here, and that is actually pretty darn scary. That's one of the good things about Centaur as well, is he does work in aggressive tri-lanes like that. So as a first pick, he's kind of that flex pick, which can make the end of your draft a bit more flexible. But one last point about the Ember Spirit is I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. For whatever reason, this meta, they haven't experimented with that build quite as much, and it just doesn't really fit into their play style. When you go that Sleight of Fist Bola build, it's really potent, but there's that timing window where you have to be super aggressive. Basically, when Ember Spirit hits level 8, you have the level 3 Bolas, the ultimate, and then the level 4 Sleight of Fist. That's your time to shine. That's your time to run around, kill supports, just obliterate people while you're super tilted. And that seems to be a time when a lot of these Asian teams are more concerned about farming, getting those core items up, getting those initial BKBs. So I think it just doesn't really mesh with the playstyle that they find most comfortable. And the Flame Guard, it's a little bit more safe. It's good for clearing waves, and you can kind of just play Ember Spirit as a little bit more of a farming kind of utility, get your Battle Fury, and you know Chinese Dota, man, usually they're not in too much of a rush to seal the deal. And, yeah, that Sleight of Fist Bola build it's just a different play style. Much more centric around how Arteezy likes to do it.
Well, much more killing heroes and much less lane control. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And it does sort of fit the Chinese meta. I don't know. I mean, you have the Ember Spirit potential to be this incredible late game hero with all this safe pressure, safe uphill, safe turtle. There's so many wonderful things he does without putting himself in any risk. But you can do so much of that during the mid game. I just think it's a bit of a waste.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you, though. I'm still not a big fan of the Flame Guard build, but every time people flame me for saying the Flame Guard build isn't as good, I just think that speaks to how broken this hero is. You can do whatever build you want and still just smash people with him. You know, I think the Sleight of Fist is a little better, but It doesn't really matter. He's still a damn good hero, still has unbelievable lane control, rune control, and absurd mobility. We will see a 5th pick Mirana coming out from Titan, maybe a hybrid pick that they were looking for, as well as a deny pick. They could have done a tri-lane with Dazzle, Mirana, and Shadow Demon. Pretty easy setup for the arrows, and just put that Centaur in the off lane. So a pretty solid pick all around. She is quite popular in this meta as well, and will give them a little bit of extra carry power here. It will probably be a tri-lane with the Mirana, Ancient Apparition Lion, Nature's Prophet in the off lane, and Ember Spirit in the mid would be my best guess about it. But that's a pretty scary tri-lane for Titan as well. 3 ranged heroes with that chilling touch is quite potent.
Yeah, I think that the Mirana pick kind of shuts down any ability for Execration to go aggressive. I think as good as Dazzle and Shadow Demon are as supports for this Centaur and as much damage as you can put out, there's too much lockdown. There's just too much raw damage thanks to the chilling touch. I think any commit, like, you would probably be able to burst one hero, right? But after that, you'd be in too far. You'd get locked down. Unless that hero happens to be the Ancient Apparition and he was out of position, you'd have Chilling Touch wailing on you. You'd almost always lose someone in return. So it'd be and yeah, not with a Void. They're not going to leave a Void solo.
Wow. So yeah, definitely won't be that aggressive tri-lane we were talking about, but a Faceless Void 5th pick. Rather interesting. And
Burning just did Faceless Void a day or two ago.
Yeah, I don't have any beef with Faceless Void himself, but I think in this particular matchup, it could be a little bit risky. He'll take a long time to come online. They've got a couple of good space creators in that Centaur as well as the Fairy Dragon, so maybe they can bide their time and hedge their bets to let that Faceless Void come online. But with a Mirana, Ember Spirit as the primary carries for Titan, they can be pretty aggressive, and they have some pretty serious lane dominators as well as some pushing power with the Nature's Prophet, and I worry that Execration may get run over while Ninja Boogie is still trying to come online.
I think if Titan wins the laning phase, the maybe 12 to 20 minute mark looks very, very dangerous for Execration, because if Execration starts to fall behind in levels, if the Puck doesn't get the levels he needs, if the Centaur doesn't get the levels he needs, they're going to be really lacking in any sort of good kind of defensive abilities outside of the Dazzle. Their team fight won't be very strong, and Titan could just kind of push and run over them in about 20-25 minutes. Yeah. On the other hand, if Execration gets the better of the laning phase, I mean, then what does Titan do? They don't have equally strong team fight. They can't really deal with the Void if he gets that Chronosphere off and he gets a little bit of extra farm. So I think this is very much reliant on being dominant at the beginning of the game here.
Yes, I 100% agree. And frankly, if Titan don't at least win the laning phase, maybe not dominate and win the game in 20 minutes, but do fairly well, something is running amok here. I think they have a much better early game and slightly stronger lane, so it looks like we could see an early clash. Execration are using a 5-man smoke. They'll find net. One auto attack comes off from the Puck, but they won't be in range to engage and slow him down, and Lion will survive. And, oh, Net playing with fire a little bit here. And Net, he is the famous hide-in-the-trees player here. He has taken HY's advice to the next level. He pretty much plays Lion and Sand King. Those are his 2 core heroes that I've seen probably 80-90% of the games that we've seen come out of Titan. And, oh, hoof stomp on to Yamate. But no, Execration will just back out. So expect to see Net grab a Blink Dagger and do some cheeky plays here, hiding in the trees, blinking, looking to catch people off guard. That's what he does best. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize ahead of time. I will probably call Execration extinct at least once or twice throughout this cast if I haven't already. I know Extinct is a player, Execration is a team, but that does not stop my dyslexia from confusing myself and viewers alike. So if you hear Extinct, I do mean Execration, the dire team. In this Game 1 at the best of 5. Let's introduce some rosters here, though. Hippie, on the Radiant side, we've got Team Titan, the favorites coming into this BO5 semifinal of the Inaugural. We'll have Net playing on the Demon Witch Lion. Yamate tagged up as NWP on the Position 1 Mirana, and he'll be joined by X on the Ancient Apparition. That's Extinct himself. That'll be a safe lane tri-lane for Titan. KYXY on the solo mid Ember Spirit, and that leaves us with Ohio in the off lane on Nature's Prophet.
And over on the side of Execration, we will have Ninja Boogie handling the Faceless Void. BG01 playing our Dazzle. Gonna have Abeng playing that solo mid Puck. Over in the off lane, we're gonna have you handling the Centaur, and the Shadow Demon will be Fox.
Yes, indeed. And we'll have sort of an aggressive a safe lane tri-lane from Execration. I don't know why aggressive popped out of my mouth there. There's nothing aggressive about it when you've got a Faceless Void. He's got plenty of regeneration, that Stout Shield to start things off, and Ohio is actually doing pretty well for himself. He's got a couple of CS, sitting 2-2, and well on his way to level 3. Centaur, on the other hand, he's completely zoned out. He hasn't gotten a single creep's worth of experience yet, and obviously no last hits on the board for him. So Titan doing a pretty good job here. They did get a counter ward down, so they're creep pulling to their heart's content. And, you know, I can't really blame this Centaur. Not much you can do down here with this, well, it's a safe lane, tri-lane, but they are damn aggressive. So I think he's playing this one smart by staying out of experience range.
Yeah, he's got the ward down, so he'll be able to see if the Lion starts to rotate in from the creep pulls. But at the same time, I mean, the AA is trying very hard to hide, make sure he doesn't know exactly where he is. He has to watch out for the arrows at any point in time. And I mentioned it during the draft, even before the Mirana got picked, just the Lion Ancient Apparition is so much to deal with for any offlaner, even one as tanky as Centaur. Gets the invis, though. That's going to help a bit if they don't have a sentry handy, but they've got them just coming right back through the woods.
Yeah, they've got plenty of sentries, and Net may get engaged upon, but we see a ping coming out. They're trying to bait him in. They know what's going on. They want to try and set this up with a kill. Net starts it off with the Impale. There's the Hex, an easy arrow, and Lion will secure the first blood with one last auto attack. Great setup from Titan. And like you mentioned, that would have been great if they didn't have any sentries down, but preemptively ready to rock and roll, and Centaur will fall for the bait. Rather unfortunate this sentry also didn't get this D-ward here. Very close, but, well, there's your first blood, and now Centaur's life will be that much more difficult.
That's that minus 100 sentry range from a few patches ago, man.
Yeah.
That's that right there. But yeah, I mean, it's actually really, really fortunate for them that they managed, that he grabbed the invis and that those sentries ended up being useful. Because, sure, I mean, they got their pullback, but he still has the vision, like I mentioned, of the jungle because they missed with that second sentry. So, I mean, that would have been a wasted 100 gold. Instead, picks him up a first blood.
Yeah, so I mentioned that with the Faceless Void, there's this window where Titan might be able to just run them over, but the saving grace for Execration are their Space Creators. They've got Puck as well as Centaur. Both of them will be going for Blink Daggers, and in the mid-game, that's when they'll be moving around, trying to set up kills, and just all around creating space for the Faceless Void to find farm. But Puck, he's doing well in the mid lane, 21-6 versus the 12-2 Ember Spirit. So KYXY actually coming up a little bit short in the mid lane, but Centaur will not have a blink anytime soon. And oh, they want to try and kill him again here. Ohio thinking about TPing in. He cancels it the first time and just continuing to cancel cast it. Uh-oh, Net gets scouted out. Nice game sense from the Centaur. He knew they were up to some trickery. This is a classic Titan play right here. Whenever they have the Nature's Prophet, rotate 4 into the off lane very early on. Look for a kill. If they haven't found their first blood, usually this will be it. And then just grab an early tower kill. Their efforts to gank will be thwarted, but their pushing efforts appear to be successful as they cut the wave and the tower already down to about half health.
Yeah, Ohio got his level 3 before coming down here, doing much better than you in that off-lane position, obviously able to get a little bit more. Ooh.
Oh, arrow connects on the Centaur. This will be an easy kill. Chilling touch to secure it. Ohio the one to grab the last hit. Tower does fall. Not denied. Puck coming in. Only level 5. No Dream Coil available, but still secures the kill on Lion. And the rest of Titan on the defensive. They will be forced to retreat, and it looks like they may make it out safe. Arrow, they turn. They're going to try and finish off Fox. Yamate sets it up, and he falls to the creeps. The Radiant get the last hit, but that'll make it 3-1 here at the 4.5-minute mark. Titan with a huge burst of momentum. Already a 1,500 gold and experience lead.
Yeah, absolutely worth it for Titan right there. Just sacrificing just the Lion in exchange for a tower, the Centaur again, and that Shadow Demon. That Centaur's only level 2. He's having an absolutely miserable time this game. He'll do a little bit better now that things are getting pushed up to his second tower. Now already hitting level 3, so he'll be able to gather up that experience. But the Puck had to TP too. So he lost a little bit of time in what was a winning lane, and that gives Ember Spirit his level 6.
And speaking of Ember Spirit, Chris, we're seeing the Searing Chain Sleight of Fist build KYXY. Oh my gosh, you're warming my heart right now. Level 6. He's got level 3 Searing Chains, and he's trying to be aggressive against this Puck. Abang did just hit level 6, and he actually burned his Dream Coil on KYXY, but Net was right there to support him, and now he doesn't have that big ultimate dazzle. Rotates in. He's only level 3, but recognizing that Puck's going to need some help here against this aggressive Ember Spirit build, and also Net, he was on it. He'll move down to the low. Maybe they can still make a kill happen, or maybe not, but KYXY doing the build that we were talking about, wishing more Eastern players would utilize it. Although off the mark with the ball is there.
Each other in the woods. Do they make a sound?
So interesting though. We'll see how this works out for him. It looks like Titan do want to try and tighten their grip here in that mid-game window, like that 10 to 20 minute mark when Execration will be particularly weak. Lion does have a haste rune scattered out here at the 6-minute mark. KYXY does have a bottle, but full health, full mana with 2 charges. They may just let the Lion grab the haste and try and set up a kill in the mid. Level 4 on the Centaur now, will rotate in, but he is desperate for any kind of farm he can find. We're at 6.5 minutes, and he is nowhere close to a Blink Dagger. Doesn't even have his Tranquils up yet. Here's Net, haste rune on, connects with the Impale. KYXY comes forward, plenty of damage, the Remnants, and that will secure the kill. Centaur will take his 3rd spill of the game, 0-3-0, and they'll try and translate this to a tower push once again as Ohio TPs in.
Yeah, but no mana for the Treants right there. I was kind of expecting KYXY to bottle him once and just try to get it up there so they could get that push happening, but no, they're just going to back out of the lane. One interesting side effect is that Sentry Ward got burned. When those 2 supports ran right past each other, the Dazzle figured the line must have been warding up there. So now we've got a wasted Sentry. So 100 gold, every little bit counts.
Yeah, absolutely right about that. Titan just grabbing a lot of early momentum here. Now 3,000 gold, 2,500 experience in their favor. Faceless Void is our last hit leader, but he just takes so darn long to come online. He does have a Hand of Midas, pretty well timed, but it will be a little while before he actually gets the recipe delivered to him. Courier will pick it up right now. Ninja Boogie looking at somewhere about an 8-minute Midas once it pops up in the inventory. So not too shabby, not too great either. I'll be curious to see if he goes Hand of Midas straight into Battle Fury. That's a popular Void build we've been seeing recently, but I'm not so sure it's the right idea here in this match. That same scenario we've been talking about where he'll get that Battle Fury, but at the cost of all of their outer towers.
I'm not sure I would hate doing a similar build to what Burning did in Starladder, which was Hand of Midas into Aghanims. Because they really, really badly need something to be able to take fights when Titan starts applying pressure. They need something dominant that lets them win small skirmishes, big engagements, and not let Titan just roll over them. I think an Aghanims could actually create that sort of opening. I don't always like it on Void. I think, sometimes not having the damage can be frustrating, but you have pretty great early damage coming out of Centaur. You have the Soul Catcher to amplify all that. The Pox nuke damage should not be ignored either. So I think in the earlier parts of the game, the only problem you'd have with that, of course, is that a lot of your damage requires your heroes to be close in, and so a Chronosphere is going to obviously neuter that potential just a bit.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Wasn't that in that new Dota Poop video, wasn't there a whole little segment about a Faceless Void going Ags first, and footage of him just not doing any damage? He catches people in a solo chrono, but still can't finish him off to save his life. Maybe in some trouble here. Nope, he'll just TP back to safety. Smart play from the Centaur, but yeah, he is still struggling. Only level 5.5, still doesn't have the Stampede online here at the 9-minute mark. Working on those Tranquils. He'll be lucky to find a Blink Dagger in the mid-game. Puck doing much better, though, sitting level 8, only on brown boots, but 1,500 gold, trying to pull up for that Blink Dagger, and with that Execration, we'll do a 3-man smoke, rotating to the top lane, and I'll hit a little lag spike here. Looks like the players will find it as well. And we'll move into our first pause of this series.
Well, yeah, it looks like it was just everyone spiking. No big deal.
No big deal. And I've got my admin hat on again today, Hippie. I am the official tournament admin. So
aren't you just fancy?
Yeah, you better watch out. You better make Zyori happy because Zyori has the power.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Ban-hammered.
Exactly. Oh god.
I'm in trouble.
Oh, and speaking of oh god, Yamate, he's going to get engaged upon by the Chronosphere. They'll have plenty of damage to finish him off. Puck also burning the Dream Coil. And Puck will be the one to secure that kill. But it is a 4-man rotation. Not a bad little kill coming out. Good use of the Chronosphere in the lane. And we'll see how Titan want to react. Looks like it'll just be Ember Spirit holding the lane for now. Extinct. He's just holding the mid lane, trying to find a little bit of experience himself. Desperately looking for level 6. But, uh-oh, Centaur. He could be in some trouble here. Chilling Touch comes out. Ohio comes in, and there's your Finger of Death from Net. Easy kill in the mid. And almost sniping the Courier as well. But just not finding that last auto attack they need to seal the deal. So, a 1-for-1 across the map. They trade Yamate for a kill on the Centaur.
Well, he's got his ultimate now, though. He had just ticked level 6, so they haven't kept him away from that. Obviously, still keeping him from the Tranquils, from the Blink Dagger. So,
ooh, Ninja Boogie up top. KYXY, he'll try to pursue. He does have a Fire Remnant, but he doesn't go for it. Oh, and the ball is off the mark. Oh, he just gets barely fogged. Huge kill opportunities for KYXY in the top lane, but unable to secure the kills. Very unfortunate. A good disruption on Ninja Boogie to secure his safety, but oh, that would have been huge if KYXY picked up a double there.
Yeah, that Ember Spirit making things happen.
Yeah.
It's so much potential, and I'm so happy that he's gone for this more aggressive build,
Yeah.
especially because they have such an aggressive team to go with it. It would be a waste not to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It looks like Yamate is working towards a Lincoln's first. He's got a Perseverance to follow up his Phase Boots. So that screams Lincoln's. I don't know what else Murano will be doing with that Perseverance. Rather interesting. There will be a 3-man smoke from Titan in the mid lane, though, as KYXY joins Net and Extinct. They will press forward, but their efforts won't be so successful. Execration have no one in the mid lane. Ohio wanting to TP, and this is something Ohio does a lot. He's constantly spamming that teleport and canceling it, just to keep everyone on their toes, casters and players alike. They will try to do a wraparound here as Puck hops forward. They see that he's burned his orb, and oh god. You'll get punished for that one, Fairy Dragon. Anytime they catch you with the Illusory Orb on cooldown, they're going to go for it. Ends up being an easy kill. They grab a Tier 1 tower out of it as well, and maybe Titan will just transition this into a Tier 2 tower kill. This is a 5-man push straight up the middle. Meanwhile, up top, Ninja Boogie, he's got that hand of Midas. It looks like himself as well as Fox will try and grab a Tier 1 tower kill out of this. Glyph comes out for Execration, but they are just not in a position to defend this.
Yeah, I don't know what Yu is thinking, just kind of hanging out back here in the smoke. It's like he wanted to do a wraparound. He's expecting people to TP in. He's like, guys, I'm in this position. I can stampede and get a hoof stomp, but ends up nothing happens. They give up 2 towers for free.
Yeah, they don't even get the Tier 1 up top. What a disaster.
Yeah, they only got it to half-life. It's not even close.
Yeah, the Glyph from Titan coming in handy there. Again, Void is our net worth leader right now by an okay margin, but only 300 up on the Ember Spirit, considering he had a Hand of Midas at the 8-minute mark. Still waiting for it to really kick in, but oh, Net's got his Blink Dagger now. This is when things start to get a little bit scary. That is one of those just player item combos that he is a master of the Blink Dagger. Like I said, he likes to hide in the trees and set the trap. And now Execration will have to be on their toes. There could be a lion hopping on you with that instant hex pretty much at any time. And KYXY, he's working on his Drum of Endurance, a pretty standard Ember Spirit build here. Nothing too crazy, but this is right as where Ember Spirit is going to start to peak out a little bit. Has that value point now in Flame Guard. He will transition out of the Searing Chains. Level 3 is that value point to get the 3-second duration. And yeah, now just going to go Flame Guard. Execration, they want to try and defend this top Tier 1 tower, but can they actually do it? Even if Ninja Boogie hops in with a Chronosphere here, there is plenty of support from Titan. Look at the spread. They're trying to bait it out with Yamate, and best they can hope for is a deny, and they'll find it. Shadow Demon actually does secure the last hit. Yu hopping in. There's Ninja Boogie with the Chronosphere. Catches 3. Net off to the sides. Can he blink forward? He'll drop the finger on top of Dazzle. That secures the kill. Faceless Void finishes off the Ancient Apparition. 3-man coil coming out from Puck, but oh, the Sleight of Fist bolas. That finishes off the Shadow Demon. Puck with a lot of damage will find a kill on Ohio, but it will cost him his life, and it's not over yet. Yu trying to move around in the trees. Moonlight Shadow flies, and that'll be a dead Centaur. I do declare, see you later. And a successful team fight for Titan. They'll find a 2-for-4 trade, and also a Tier 1 tower in the mix.
What we really saw right there was the problem with this Void in Execration's draft, and it was something I halfway through the game I realized the error they'd kind of made. They have no damage output that is useful against Chronosphere targets. The Puck needs to be next to people. The Centaur needs to be next to people. The Shadow Demon doesn't have significant damage output, nor does the Dazzle, so you're relying on an underfarmed Void to do everything at the start of this game. And he's gone in for Midas. You know he's going to take a while to come online, but you also know that Chronosphere is a critical skill. You need to be able to hold long enough to get him online, but without heroes that can take advantage of the Chronosphere, how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the synergy between Void and Centaur. It's the same problem that the Puck has, except even worse. At least Puck has an Illusory Orb. He can cast Dream Coil from afar. Centaur, he has to be on top of you for the Hoof Stomp and Double Edge to do anything. So there is definitely a problem there. In the mid lane, we'll see Yamate engaged upon, but he'll be able just to hop back to safety, chucks an arrow. It will be off the mark, but he survives to tell the tale of this 4-man rotation to the mid lane. And that will be a failed gank for Execration. Speaking of the Centaur as well, only 700 gold in the bank. We're 15 minutes in, and he still has no Blink Dagger. This is the time of the game when Centaur really peaks. His burst damage is huge. He needs the Blink to set up kills, and he has just had no impact in this game. He's 0-5-1 at the 15-minute mark.
It's a result of the laning situation they were forced to put him in. You know, the Void draft forced the defensive tri lane. I said that I wasn't sure if a tri-v-tri would work just because the Ancient Apparition is so ridiculously good in a tri lane. But, I mean, what has your defensive tri lane really gotten? Your Void still isn't going to be farmed for a while, and he is going Aghanims, by the way, which, I know I
Okay.
said earlier, maybe I'd like the Aghanims. Thinking about it more and watching the last couple of Chronospheres, I think it's a terrible choice. But he also, well, it's not like he can go BKB because there's already a Blink Hex on the Lion.
Yeah.
What does he go right now?
Yeah.
He doesn't actually have a good option.
I agree. They drafted themselves into kind of a corner here. And again, they're going to try and focus on Yamate. They'll hop forward, but Net, he was hiding in the trees. He blinks in to try and save his buddy. Buys him some time, but it's just not enough. It'll be a 2-for-0 in the bottom lane, going the way of Execration. And Puck is going to be the one to pick up the double kill. Ice Blast off the mark, but it was a 5-man rotation, and it proved successful. So Execration get a few more kills up on the board. They'll delay the lead for Titan, kind of plateau the golden experience graph. 7,500 gold, 5,000 experience, but not the end of the world for Titan. It could cost them a tier 1 tower down here in the bottom lane. But Execration, they're just in guerrilla warfare mode now. The only option they have is these 5-man rotations where they have to burn pretty much all their big ultimates just to pick up what would have been a solo kill on the Mirana. Net probably could have hidden the trees and just cut their losses, but he wanted to make the big plays and save his friend. Unfortunately, it just added another kill to the mix.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta feel like the hero. You want to go in, but Lion, as much as it's wonderful to have that positioning aid, as much as you have all this disable, you're on 720 life, bud. You went Tranquils. You don't have a bracer or anything.
Yeah,
you're food for that Centaur if he gets on you.
Yeah. Ohio, he's going more of...
to his blink, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good news. Centaur making a recovery, but there is also a Handamitis on Titan, so not that they'll be able to take it late, but they do have a farming tool of their own. Of course, it's on the Nature's Prophet, and he's now picked up a Shadow Blade. So he's going a little bit more of a ganker-style build, and just an interesting choice all around. Titan with another smoke. They'll wrap around the Dire Secret Shop. Now remember, there's no tier 2 tower in the mid lane, so they can afford to be a little more aggressive here. Net putting some wards down along the way. But there are 4 heroes in the mid, so this won't be an easy gank. Their smoke gets revealed. There are 3 of them here, the 2 supports, and KYXY's Ember Spirit. They will rotate to the bottom, looking for the Centaur, but he will move back to the tier 3.
Dagon on Puck.
Well, there you have it.
I think it's going to be good. There's not a lot of hit points being built up by Titan. It's not like anyone's going for a BKB anytime soon. And Puck is the only person getting a reasonable amount of farm besides that Void, so he has to be able to control the tempo without the help of that Centaur most of the time. We're just barely going to be picking up the blink on Centaur, so he's already a little bit behind. So I actually really like that choice, because if he can start finding pickoffs, getting people like the Lion, like the Ember Spirit before the fight starts. The Ember a little tougher. He's picked up a drum now, obviously. But, you know, if you can get the AA, or even the Prophet has almost no hit points. If you can blow him up before he can pop that Shadow Blade, it could be pretty huge.
Yeah,
and this could actually run them back in a little bit.
Yeah, there are 3 big item pickups here. The Ags on Faceless Void, Dagon on Puck, and the Blink on Centaur. 3 core items that can maybe get Execration back in this game as we get another little lag spike here. But Titan going very mid-game oriented builds. The Shadow Blade that we mentioned. Even the Lincoln's on Mirana. And now Ancient Apparition. Forget about the Ag Scepter. He's going to go straight into a mech. And that doesn't seem too weird at face value, but for the Asian meta in the East, they really don't like mech. You don't see mech as often as you do over in the West. So to me, that says that Titan really want to try to end this game soon. And, well, they're going to continue their way on that road as they gear up for a push to take out the last remaining outer tower for Execration. Though it appears that Execration will try and make a defense here. And, uh-oh, more lag issues, Hippie.
Well, yeah, that was looks like a spike all around. I guess we got an awkward server right there.
Yeah, KYXY does not approve. Nor does Ninja Boogie.
Well, just have KYXY deny the server. We'll be good.
Jesus, dude.
Look, man, it's the first time in forever I've gotten to cast KYXY. I'm going to get my fair share of jokes in. Even if they're all terrible.
It's all good. It's all good. So, okay. They will resume here. Treant will scout things out a little bit. But already they get this tower down to half health. No glyph used quite yet. And Titan, a small sign of respect here. They won't just kind of bull rush it forward. They'll put Yamate in the mid lane. And he needs to be a little careful here. Mirana could get engaged upon. There's the blink from Centaur. Hoof Stomp. Dream Coil from Puck. Yamate leaps into the trees. And Moonlight Shadow, nope, won't be able to get it off, and Dagon will be enough to finish him. So a little sloppy here from Titan. They'll concede unnecessary death, but they're trying to set the trap for Ninja Boogie up top. Net hiding in the trees. I don't know that these two supports will have the damage, but now Ember Spirit's joining the party. There's the blink forward, the stun, and plenty of damage. So they'll trade Mirana for Faceless Void. And at the end of the day, Titan will be pretty darn happy with that as they gear up for a push at the top lane once again.
I think honestly any hero but Faceless Void, the two supports could have safely said we can kill that guy.
Yeah.
But see, the Finger of Death wasn't used by Net, but like if you're forced to use the Finger of Death and then he backtracks it, and you've made all this commitment just for the sake of killing the Void, and then you just by the pure 25% chance didn't get the killing blow, then it's a problem. So I like that they actually committed the extra couple of heroes. Another spike right there.
Yeah, what are you gonna do when the lag comes for you? Pause the game. That's about it. But top tier 2 tower falls, and it is Ember Spirit that gets the last hit on it. So now Ohio, he's got an ultimate orb. Hard to say if that'll be another Lincoln's or if he's just going to go Scythe of Vice, but I think the latter of those two make a little more sense. Ancient Apparition very close to his mech now, just about one creep kill away, and Ember Spirit, he almost has his Battle Fury, just a few creeps of his own. So Titan, they might be looking for a Roshan, but a little bit risky against this lineup from Execration with both Blink Daggers up in the Chronosphere. That is a recipe for disaster in the Roche Pit. So unless they get a couple of pickoffs, I don't think they'll just run in there blind. But Titan's still in great shape. Now Nature's Prophet about 1,000 gold up on the Faceless Void. KYXY, he'll get engaged upon by Ninja Boogie. There's the Chronosphere, Dream Coil, Illusory Orb. KYXY in big trouble, but it's Ember Spirit. He'll just scoot away, and he gets denied by Roshan. So unfortunately for him, that's where his Fire Remnant was put down, but well, it's better than conceding a death to the other team, so I guess in the end it kind of works out for KYXY.
Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate for him that was where he had placed his Remnant, but at the same time he knew he had to be there. Touching on the Roshan point once more, I think it's not just Titan that has to be afraid of going into that pit. Execration can't go in either, even if they feel comfortable taking Roche with their lineup. You just, Ohio almost going in there.
Oh, and he actually graves the Void. That was a really close call, actually. Yamate threw an arrow, and it clipped the creep, but was very close to hitting the Void. And if it had connected, that would have been an easy kill. So almost a big play from the Mirana. He gets cool points for trying with the Ice Blast as well. If the Disruption wasn't there, I don't think Void would have shattered. It's only a level 1 Ice Blast, but it would have been a close call. And speaking of Ancient Apparition, that mech is now online.
Yeah, and I think that is going to be very valuable because so they can't really burst people down the Chronosphere like we've mentioned. So anyone who does get kind of caught in the Chronosphere can probably be effectively healed up unless it's somebody very, very squishy. And it's not like he wants to be targeting someone like the Lion, like the AA. I mean, getting them out of the fight is good, but you really want to be picking off those somewhat more effective heroes. The Mirana already has her Lincolns, so you're going to be the only one able to lock her down. You want to try and get her out of the fight. You want to try and get the Ember Spirit out of the fight now that he's going to have that Battle Fury. So I don't know, man. I think that mech, even though it's not that popular in the Eastern scene, I think it's a really good choice here, not just for the pushing, but because you don't quite have enough overall burst to just kill someone before it goes off.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Positional stuff. That's not like a lack of damage on heroes.
Yeah. Oh, and there's the Battle Fury on Ember Spirit. Execration will do a big smoke in the mid lane, but they just won't find anybody to engage upon. And now Titan, they'll actually smoke up themselves. There is also a gem up on, I think it's the, is it the Lion that has it? Yeah, Lion carrying around a gem, working on a Force Staff with that Staff of Wizardry. So again, Titan very focused around this mid game. They want to get some map control. They'll take out some wards, and they will press forward here. They'll smoke up to the high ground in the dire jungle. And who will they find? Oh no, this Centaur. He's low from doing the neutrals. Will they find their opening to engage? And nope, he'll blink back to safety. They take out that ogre camp that he was working so hard to finish off. But at the end of the day, Execration will walk away unscathed.
Oh, I think Void is going BKB. And I mean, I get it. You really are up against a whole lot of magic damage, but with the threat of the Blink Hex, and also the fact that he needs to be able to put out damage in that Chronosphere, I don't like it as his next item after Ags.
Yeah, he hits like wet noodle right now. I mean, 100 damage. It's just nothing. I understand the thought process of wanting a BKB so he can survive, but it's just rough. At some point, at the end of the day, you need somebody to do damage in the Chronosphere, and they have enough that maybe they can finish off one person if he catches them with the Illusory Orb and some Shadow Poison, and after the orb or the Chronosphere is done, maybe Centaur can hop in to finish off a kill, but the damage output just isn't there. And as Titan continue to get more farmed, get a little more tanky, and have more damage themselves, I fear for Execration.
if he gets lucky with the bashes, he can be okay. Just because obviously the double damage from bash and Chronosphere can be very, very significant.
It's never good to hear if he gets lucky with bashes. Maybe that's just never a good sign. But no, you're definitely right. Bashes could be the tide turner. Arrow in the mid lane will be off the mark. Again, probably would have been a kill on Ninja Boogie, but they'll burn the Stampede. Oh, he catches net. Mirana in mid-air. They'll find a kill on the Lion. That's a gem on the ground. They won't pick it up quite yet. Yamate, they proc the Lincoln, so he'll stand his ground for now. He uses the ultimate, but they've picked up the gem, and that'll be a double kill for Execration in the mid lane. Oh no, Titan. Bit of a disaster. Why is this guy talking? I see that there's a gem on Void. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant turnaround. It's a 1,700 gold swing when you pick up that gem.
Yeah.
So on top of getting those, a decent kill on the
they'll pick off the courier here. Yeah, Nature's Prophet gets a kill on the courier, but it's not over yet. Ice Blast flies. They'll find a kill onto the puck, and probably the Ember Spirit, or Jesus, the Shadow Demon as well. Ember Spirit pressing forward. Ninja Boogie, he's not out of the clear. He'll jump into the trees, looking to make it out, and oh, the bolas, they don't connect, and he'll TP to safety. So it does end up being a 2-for-2 exchange, but like you mentioned, the gem is the big swing, and Void will still hang on to it, and he won't drop it in the base, so he'll continue to carry it here.
Yeah, and they did. I mean, theoretically, you picked off the 1 position and lost your 2. So if you're just looking like that, it's a little bit better to get the Mirana than it is for Titan to get the puck. And also,
Roshan.
Yeah.
So that's also
TP out.
Also a big swing. The question is, will they be able to finish off Roche before Execration can react? And it looks like it. They did pretty well with that gem in terms of clearing wards, and even if Execration are privy to it and they want to contest at this point, they're just too far away. So Titan, I think they'll get the better of the exchange. Unfortunate they lost their gem, but a 2-for-2, they lose their carry, but get some counter kills. The fact that they secure Roche here is good news, and the Aegis will go the way of the Ember Spirit. Will still be difficult for Titan to break the high ground. They're going to need to find a fight outside of the base and then try and press forward. Just with the Chronosphere and everything else they have, it's too difficult to get into that little tiny area and try and take a positive fight. So Titan will be a little bit more defensive here. Scythe of Ice up on the Nature's Prophet, and Yamate, he's got another ultimate orb. Could this be a Scotty, or will he just get a Scythe of Ice of his own?
I could see a Scotty.
I could see both,
no,
honestly.
It's
gonna. What am I? I'm an idiot. It's gonna be a Manta. Why am I? Oh Jesus! It's early here on the Pacific Coast, guys.
Lincoln's Manta is pretty much standard for Mirana.
Yeah, I'm a derp wagon. I'm just like, yeah, it's gonna be a Scythe of Ice, not a Manta. Jesus.
It's so weird to see the ultimate orb first because you already have a bit of tankiness from the Lincolns. Oh.
And KYXY, he'll scoot back to safety. He survives for now. Moonlight Shadow comes out, but the Void still carrying the gem. Chronosphere out on Yamate, but he'll get hexed up and he'll just retreat. That'll be a wasted chrono, and no kills will come out for Execration.
Well, only a 60-second cooldown on that chrono, thanks to that Aghanims. And then, of course, the Centaur ultimate only 75 seconds, so it's not like they burned a whole lot there. That's one thing Execration really has going for them, is that all of their cooldowns are so low. Every single fight, they're going to be ready. Obviously, until you get that level 3 Finger of Death, it's still a somewhat significant cooldown. And the Mirana ultimate is a pretty decent cooldown as well. So if you trade nothing but cooldowns, Execration comes out a little bit on top.
Yeah, but Titan are just finding more efficiency around the map. Throughout this entire time that's been kind of a static farm fest, the golden experience graph has been going up in their favor. Now they'll press forward to try and break the high ground. They force the glyph out right away, and now this tier 3 will take heavy damage. They know with the chrono down, they have a big opportunity here. Only 10 seconds until it comes back up, but still a pretty large window of opportunity. And Tower taking hefty damage. Yu pops forward. There's the hoof stomp. Mirana will leap back to safety. Sleight of Fist bolas connect on the Dazzle. Puck will use the phase shift. And Arrow flies in off the mark, but pretty decent damage on that tier 3 tower. Nice opening for Titan, and they do capitalize on the opportunity.
Pipe done for Centaur, which could be very, very significant. I mean, it'll help the Flame Guard burn damage that everyone's taking. It'll help against that Ancient Apparition damage. And he's recovered reasonably well, considering how slowly he got that Blink Dagger. About, 10 minutes later, he has himself a pipe to help the rest of his team. Yep. So not a bad recovery right there for you. I'm very impressed. Especially sitting at 1 and 5.
Yeah, 1, 5, and 4. Those assists helping out. They did get 1 tower kill earlier on, which helped him out a little bit in his quest for that Blink Dagger. But yeah, given the lack of map objectives the Dire team have been able to pick up, pretty damn impressive indeed. Now KYXY, pardon me, he's got a Chrysalis, so he's critting all over the place. Mirana, Well, still working towards the Manta. We'll have a Yasha before too long here. And not too much else in the way of item progression. Oh, never mind. Net will have a Force Staff now. Yamate picks up the illusion. Centaur with a Stampede, but the follow-up isn't there. And that will be another wasted cooldown. Arrow flies in between the... Oh, wow. Hits Ninja Boogie. And a Sleight of Fist, Bola combo. One of them does connect onto the Shadow Demon. They'll follow up. Net with the Earth Spike. And that'll be a kill for the Ember Spirit as he cleaves him down. Nature's Prophet secures the kill on Puck. Ninja Boogie pops the BKB. It's a last-ditch effort. Chrono. Centaur gets fingered. He falls. Ninja Boogie won't survive. That's a triple kill for Ohio. And now Execration in big trouble. It's a 5-for-0 exchange. Puck buys back, but they are in big trouble. I think Titan will breach the high ground here. There's a Desolator out on the Prophet as well.
Is there any buyback for the Void? There is, okay. But no Chrono for 40 seconds. He burned his BKB in that too.
Yeah, no BKB for 50 seconds. Yeah, buyback to do what? Time lapse in and then hit him with a Ag Scepter? I mean, it's just... He's so cooldown reliant right now. And they'll hop forward. Puck gets hexed up. There's a Grave from the Dazzle. That'll buy Puck some time. KYXY, maybe overcommitting, but don't worry. He's got the Aegis. Dazzle falls the Ancient Apparition. And now Yamate hops forward to finish off Fox. Arrow, that just smacks the Fairy in the face. They do secure the Aegis kill onto KYXY, but they're just getting picked apart. And we should be moments from a GG. Yep, there it is. Execration. They'll be forced to tap out after 31 minutes of gameplay. 22-10, Titans seal the deal with just crisp execution. Well played by our Radiant side, and a much-deserved win for the first game in this best-of-5 series.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like Execration might have had a chance to come back into it, but I think awkward draft, very positioning reliant. You don't want really positional heroes combined with a Void in general. And then, of course, just the Void's item choices. I didn't love the BKB. It did him no good. 4,000 gold could have gone towards damage.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, my friend. So that wraps up Game 1, guys. We'll have Game 2 coming up in a jiff here. I'm Zyori. With me today is Hippie. Thank you for joining us here for your inaugural semifinals coverage. Game 2 of Execration and Titan coming up after this short break.